Dr. Sherry, and I am here with my birth chart blueprint. All right, welcome Taft 1987 for being a YouTube member. And for those that are YouTube members, you guys, let me say to you, I have already started doing you all's free consultations. So if you are a member, hold on, let me find out where it is. Where is my show? There you go. All right. So if you are a member, just go to, it's coming up, link bio, / there it is. It's coming up now. I am Dr. Sherry, and you'll be able to register for your free consultations. If you're a YouTube member, I need to do them all by June 1st. Okay. All right, you guys, let's jump into it. And you know what? I need to upload some files that I did not upload. So give me a chance to do that right quick, so we can get into today, which is going to be very, very, very interesting. I mean, like very interesting. I can't even express to you all right now, to be in the space that we are. And I'm loading them up right now. We're going to go through them in just a second. But to be in this space, to live where we are living right now, to be alive during this time period is unbelievable. All right, so let me remove. Okay. All right. So let's see who's joining us. Let's see. Hey, Shanice, how are you? Hi, Lakia. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Sharon. Okay. All right, you guys. I'm excited about today because if you've watched all the episodes, we're on episode 5, right? So if you have not watched since 1, you need to go back and watch the other ones, okay? But all of this is going to actually come together today. When you look at a birth chart, and today we're going to look at my birth chart. Okay, I am going to put myself out there and make sure yep, it's already loaded. So I'm going to put myself out there because I want you to see, especially for those that know me, you're going to see how my personality is truly reflected in my birth chart. And you're going to see and start to understand how you can really define who you are and to know who you are from looking at your birth chart. This is what this is all about, for you to become more in tune with yourself, right? All right. So today, this is what our goal is. Our goal is to make astrology feel practical. We want it to feel practical. We want astrology to feel grounded, right? When it's grounded, that means you truly have an understanding. And I want it to be relatable to your real life, okay? To your real life. Now, stick with me after we finish our lesson, because at the end, I'm going to talk about what's going on in real time right now and why living today it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal, okay, to witness what we're about to witness. All right, so today, again, we've already kind of described how energy moves, because we talked about that when we talked about planets last week, right? And we already kind of described when energy moves, what it is specifically doing. We already handled that, okay? Now, today we're going to talk about something called houses, all right? So where a house is, it describes how these planets, how these signs show up in your life. Okay, and that's why it's so important to kind of bring it all together. So remember, I told you before, when people just say, "Oh, what's your sun sign?" That literally tells you nothing about yourself. It tells you nothing about the person. Okay, there's no way that you could know a person by simply knowing their sun sign. And thank you for the reminder, Shiloh. So if you're tuning in, y'all know what to do. Give us a thumbs up. It helps push this out a little further. So I thank you in advance. All right. So this week, it's going to be the ooh factor. Okay. This is where we begin to explain what's happening in your actual life. And I am excited about it. Okay. So here's something most people don't realize when we're discussing astrology. It never comes to the forefront of their mind. And so let me read to exactly what I put. Two people can have the same zodiac sign, and we talked about that a couple weeks ago. They can have the same planets, right? So they can have the same zodiac sign, they can have the same planets, and their charts can even be very, very similar, but they can have totally different lives if those signs and those planets show up in different houses. All right. And so that's because astrology doesn't just describe who you are. It describes where your life, again, going back to that energy, it describes where that life energy, where it plays out in your life. And that's what the houses show us. So let's put this up. And we put this up before in our first episode. All right, I think it was the first episode. This is what the chart looks like. This is what a birth chart looks like. And what we're going to do today is we're going to actually fill in those different houses. So notice where the first house begins, and it goes all the way down, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. If you were born, or if your sun is located at the bottom portion of this chart, that means that you are a night baby, okay? And then the top half represents the day. So already you're learning a little bit about yourself, but this is what the houses actually look like. So today, again, we're going to talk about the houses, okay, the areas of your life where things actually happen, where it goes down. Okay. All right. So if the birth chart is like a map, remember I told you when you're born, there's a blueprint in the sky, right? When you're born, there is a blueprint in heaven that is just for you. Isn't that beautiful? That is remarkable to know that at this specific second of the day or the night, you were born into this beautiful atmosphere. And listen, beg to differ, our atmosphere is beautiful. This place that we live is beautiful, but you have to create that beauty, right? You have to create that reality for yourself. So the houses are, so if the birth chart is the blueprint, the birth chart is the map, right? The houses are like the rooms, okay? The houses are the rooms. The houses are the rooms in a specific house. So if this is your entire house, each room would represent a house. And so again, when I showed you that circular diagram, each individual section is its own house. So that's why it's so important to understand where those signs are, right? And where those planets, where that energy is moving, because that energy moving through those houses really, really, really dictate what is going on in your daily life. So the houses, they represent specific life areas. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about those specific life areas that is coming forth in each one of those houses. Okay. We're going to even talk about what those planets look like when they venture into those different houses. And I'm going to show you that through my birth chart. And we're going to answer questions. These are the questions that we're going to answer. Where do I experience love? Okay. Where does conflict show up? Oh my gosh, that one is important, because where you're moving into a space of conflict, that's the time you need to chill, right? That's the time that you need to actually listen, calm down, stay at home. Don't go to any places where you're going to have to talk or communicate a lot, because your chart is showing you there's some friction that's going on right now. People some don't believe this, but I am telling you that it is true. And that's why I say, if you don't have your birth chart, if you don't know the time you were born, you don't know who you are. There's no way. There's no way you can understand who you are. You guys don't forget to give a thumbs up, because when you give a thumbs up, it pushes it out a little further. So 2 seconds. Everybody go to that thumbs up and click it for me. All right. And where does growth demand my attention? So where in my chart do I need to grow, right? What areas in my chart is showing me that I have not developed the way that I should? And so this is why this is so important. This is why reading just a sun sign, right? Horoscope, it can be very, very vague. This is why we have to begin to layer it with all of this other information so it can become crystal clear. It tells you what might happen, not where it is happening in your life, but sometimes where it might happen. That's what the sun sign tells you. But if we layer it, it's going to tell us all of the W's. It's going to give us a foresight on a path of where we might be going. Now, do understand when I'm saying this, when we're talking about the stars being aligned, everyone still has free will. You still have free will to navigate, to change it up, and to make choices that can sometimes mess you up. And this is what happens in life, because if your chart is in a position that is showing strength with you going in a certain direction. I'm going to give you an example of that in my own birth chart. So if the stars are aligned, if the planets are aligned right now, that it's saying, you know what, this is a time where you should be working on a project. This is a time where you should be bunkering down and getting things done, because you have a lot of action right now in your 10th house, which represents work. This is where I'm telling you that the planets, this is where I'm telling you that the stars will begin to align to give you support, simply because those planets are giving you strength right now in that specific house of work. Is that making sense to you? Give me a thumbs up if that's making sense to you, or if you're starting to kind of understand how this is coming together with the planets and the energy of the planets and how they begin to move through the houses. Okay? So let's see where you guys are. Let's see if you're kind of understanding that. And I'm going to give you an example of this in a minute. All right. Are y'all getting that point? Okay. The thumbs ups are happening. Good. Okay. So now let me give you an example of this. Imagine you have two people with Venus in Pisces. Okay. So just imagine that we have two people, both have Venus, and both of them have Venus in the sign of Pisces. All right. Both are romantic, both are sensitive, both are idealistic about love, because that's what the Pisceans are. Okay. The Pisces are very romantic. Okay. And they're also very sensitive. Okay. But they have this dreaminess about love. Okay. They'll dream a lot about love. Now, I want you to understand this. One has a Venus in the second house. One has their Venus in Pisces in the 7th house. And then another will have their Venus in Pisces in the 12th house. By those Venus and, you must give me a Pisces Venus. By those all having Venus Pisces, and all of those Venus Pisces showing up in different houses, that person is, each one of those people are going to be different. So let me give you an example. If someone has a Venus Pisces in the 2nd house, and we're going to talk about the houses, and that's coming up right now, but I want to kind of preface it with this. Their love is going to be tied to self-worth. Their love is going to be tied to money. Okay, their love is going to be tied to values. If it's in that 2nd house, money is going to be very important to them. They will probably be a person that shows love through gifts. Okay, and it doesn't just have to be romantic. Okay, it could be any type of relationship, but they are going to hunker down into showing love through gifts, through money, through values, things that they value. Now, if that Venus is in the 7th house, that Venus in Pisces in the 7th house, because I'm trying to show you same sign, same planet, same sign, but in different houses and how they show up differently. They're going to show you love through partnership. So they're going to want to do things together. The seventh house represents commitment. So this is going to be someone who's not even going to think about divorce. Okay. They're going to be committed to the end. Now, that could also be layered with, if let's just say, for instance, if that Venus in Pisces is in the ninth house, Sagittarian house. Now, okay, that's showing a whole nother aspect, because, well, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not even gonna go there about the Sagittarius, because I don't want nobody flipping back. You always coming down on Sagittarius. I am not. I am not. So let me go back to my other example, Venus in the 12th house. Venus in the 12th house. Now, this is going to be a love that's private. You will not know anything that's going on with a Venus and Pisces in the 12th house. Everything is going to be hidden. It's going to be a sacrificial love too. That means they're going to sacrifice for their love. That means if they have to, say for instance, they worked all day from 9 to 6, and they promised you that they were going to take you out. I don't care how tired they are. If they made a promise that they're going to take you out, they're going to take you out, even if they have to sacrifice how tired they are. This is what that looks like. So now let's do this. Let me add it to the stage. Let's actually go through the houses. Okay, let's go through each one of the houses now. And we're going to show you the personality of the houses. And so let me go to my page here, because I won't be able to see it. Okay, so here we go. Well, you know what? Let me do this. Let me just share it. Give me a second, you guys. Let me share it from my other page so I can make sure I am staying on target with you guys. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Okay, let's share. There we go. All right. So we're sharing, and I'm right there. Okay, we're good. All right, so let's start with 1. Do you all see 1? Let's start with the house 1. Okay. This is ruled by Aries. Okay. This is dealing with self. This is dealing with your physical appearance. This is dealing with your body and your awareness and how others see you. Okay. This is called the house of individuality. So the first house is all about me. Everything about me. So when you see Aries, and then also understand, remember I told you, when you go through the houses, the hierarchy, it's really also by an age thing as well. So Aries is like the baby. It's starting out in life. It's understanding who they are, right? So now let's venture over to the second house. Okay. And I want to say this too about the first house. It's also, when I talked about the baby, it's how you enter the world. So just look at it as if someone is an Aries, their focus is going to be on them. And it's not from a selfish standpoint, because in everybody's life at one point in time, it should be about you, right? You should have a focus on who you are and how to go through life understanding who you are. All right, so that's important. So now let's go to house 2, which is ruled by the terrific Taurians. Y'all know I'm gonna be biased. But it's ruled by Taurus. And this is the question you want to ask about this house. First of all, it's the house of concrete values. So when we talk about concrete, let's think about concrete. Concrete is, you can't move it, right? It's immovable. And so sometimes you'll hear the negative side when they'll say it's stubbornness, but it's not stubbornness. There's sometimes in your life where you have to be immovable. There's sometimes in your life where you cannot, go with the crowd or just sway left or right. So the second house, which is ruled by Taurus, is about your money. It's about your values. It's how we value our personal resources. right? And the question you need to ask yourself is, when you're talking about that second house, what do you rely on? Right? That's what will be found in that second house, the house of your values, your money, your worth. Okay. All of that is in the second house. And so now let's venture to the third house, which is ruled by Gemini. Now, this is all about communication. This is about teaching. This is about writing. This is about the practical mind. This is the house of learning. So this is why. So let me talk about this. Each planet rules a sign, right? And so the third house being ruled by Gemini, Gemini is ruled by the planet Mercury. So this is why when Mercury goes retrograde, our communications go haywire. Listen, you guys, it's already been proven. All right. So this is not something you can go and say, I don't believe that. You don't have to. It's already been proven. So I always forewarn my family when Mercury's about to go retrograde, and it's about to go retrograde in a couple of weeks. All right. So I warned them, okay, Mercury is about to go retrograde. Make sure you read your texts, read your emails a couple times before you send it out, before you make posts. And I'm telling you, when Mercury is in retrograde, that is a time I make all of my mistakes on my posts. I am telling you right now, I have to go back and read again and make sure I haven't left out a letter or transcribed something backwards, or, I just have to double check. So anyway, I gave a warning to my family that Mercury retrograde was about to, come up soon. And my mother didn't listen to me, and her computer crashed. Okay. And from that time forward, she told me, she said, make sure you always tell me when Mercury retrograde is about to go down, because I will listen from this point forward, which is hilarious to me. All right, so let's keep going. So that's the house of learning. So let's go on to house number 4, which is ruled by Cancer. Now, Cancer is everything about home, nurturing, family, security. It's the house of fundamentals. Sometimes people would look at the house, the fourth house, as a place where the mother, and the mother's relationship with her children shows up in that fourth house. The fourth house is where you feel safe. Okay. So that's what we're talking about, the nurturing, the family, and the security. Moving on to the fifth house, which is ruled by Leo. All right. This is where the fun takes place in your life. This is where the creativity takes place in your life. This is where the children show up in your life, having fun like a child. A childlike behavior shows up. And this is also where risk show up, and romance. Now, we look at romance in the fifth house. It's a little different from the other houses. The romance here is like a Leo romance. What does that look like? Whereas they're going to bring you the flowers. They're going to, woo you. Okay, this is what that romance looks like. Now, it's kind of different from the second house. Remember, because the second house is focused on money. So they will probably show you through their money with gifts or what have you. But the fifth house is about adding that romance to it. All right. So it's two different things. All right. So the fifth house is where you shine. Remember, Leo is that sun. The sun shines a light on things. All right. And let's come on over to the sixth house, which is ruled by Virgo. This is the house of discipline. So if you know Virgos, they are very disciplined. All right. They're disciplined about their work. They're disciplined and their service. This is about duty, and they're disciplined in their health. And so Virgo is all about that. And it's not up here, but the sixth house also focuses on pets. So pets will be found in this house as well. All right. The sixth house is how you function. All right. Again, having that discipline. And now let's move to the seventh house, which is the house of relations. This is ruled by Libra. This is partnerships. This is relationships. This is awareness of others. And it doesn't even just have to be romantic relationship, which is, you will find marriages in the house of relations, but it could be business relationships as well. All right. So this is where you meet yourself through these relationships. Okay. So when you're pairing up with someone, this is where that activity will take place. All partnerships. Now let's move on to the 8th house. Okay. Which is ruled by Scorpio. Everything inner. This is the house of your inner values. This is your intimacy, right? This is your shared resources. So now I'm sharing what I have with someone else. It could be your money, it could be your clothes, it could be your car, but it's a sharing of resources. This also represents the letting go. So the 8th house represents transformation. That's why it represents death and being rebirth. So I don't know if you ever heard about the phoenix risings, right? The phoenix rising is similar to the 8th house, where that phoenix went down in ashes and it came up with a rebirth. Okay, so it represents death. It represents endings. It could represent actual death as well. Okay, but also this also is considered a marriage house. Okay, so it's aligned right there with Libra. It's right there on the cusp, but marriage to a different point. Okay, so let me explain to you. The 7th house deals with the partnership of marriage. Okay, this is my partner. This is who I'm doing life with. Where it comes to the 8th house, it's that deep, deep intimacy, right? It's that looking in each other's eyes and already knowing what each other is saying. It goes much deeper. All right. So now let's move to, okay, the 8th house represents where you're changed. Remember, it represents transformation. Now, the 9th house is the house of evolution. That's ruled by Sagittarius. All right. So this is higher education. This is why when you're conversing with a Sagittarian, they're going to always come from a standpoint of debating on a higher level of theory, of the higher level of communication, higher level of spirituality, philosophy, right? Ideas, and they love travel. So where travel is taking place, it would take place in the house of evolution, that 9th house. This is the house of how you find meaning through, again, higher education, through your philosophy, through your ideas, through seeing the world, through travel, seeing different cultures. Okay. Now the 10th house, oh boy, this is ruled by Capricorn. The 10th house is another powerful house. This is how the world sees you. So a lot of celebrities, they have a lot of activity many times in the 10th house. This is the house of responsibility. This is career and how we are seen in the world. So how the world sees you, you being put on the world stage, you being recognized for different things. This is the activity that is found in the 10th house. This is your house of work too. Okay, this is where your house of being responsible in your life. That's the 10th house. But again, it's a major focus on work and how the world sees you. Now, the 11th house is the house of sharing. All right. So this is where you build with others. Okay. This is your groups. This is your friendships. This is your friend group, right? This is where you want to leave a legacy for your children. These are your goals. This is your harmony. This is also, which is not on here, technology. A lot of great ideas through technology is birthed through this house, which is ruled by Aquarius. Aquarius represents community. All right. So a political a nature will come out of this house right here of Aquarius, because it's about, again, social harmony, community, social responsibility. It's about groups again. Okay. And then we move on to the 12th house, which is the house of transcendence. Okay, this is your secrets. Okay, the 12th house is your karma. What you put out is what you're going to get back. This is the house of where you'll have those dreams. And this is a house sometimes where you have to be careful, because sometimes you don't know if you're in a dream state or if you're dealing with reality, because sometimes with Pisces, it's clouded. Okay. This is where you keep things hidden from ourselves and from others. This is this part right here where you don't see what others, I mean, you don't show yourself what other people might see on the outside. So you keep one part of yourself hidden that you don't want others to see. The house, the 12th house, which is again ruled by Pisces, represents your past life. It represents your spiritual life. It's what happens behind the scene. All right, so let's stop sharing. Let me come back to you guys. All right, so I hope that kind of gave you an understanding of the different houses. And so let's look at this one right here, but this is going to kind of break it down again. And this is your houses again with just a little bit more layers. Remember, we talk about the house 1, which is Aries, self, appearance, beginnings, the body, first impression, attitude, identity, approach to life. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these, but this is the time where I want to kind of show you something called an angular house. And let me put that in the chat for you. So I'm going to keep this one up when I teach you about the angular houses. And this part, I got to slow it down here because this part is very, very, very important. Okay. These are called angular houses. So let's look at the first house again of Aries. Okay. I want you to look at the 4th house. Remember, I told you about the 4th house. That's house. Okay, that's roots, that's family, that's self-care, that's emotions, that's your foundation, that's your mother, that's your children, that's women, that's your femininity. All of that is in the 4th house. That's, security. Everything is in that 4th house there, and it's very important. Another angular house, which we talked about, is the 7th. Oh, the 4th house is Cancer. The 7th house is Libra. That deals with relationships, that we talked about, the marriages here. Okay. And let me just tell you too, divorces also can show up in that 8th house. I didn't mention that before, but 7th house is contracts. Okay. Remember, we talked about the business partnerships. 7th house is about justice. It's about equality. It's about the sharing again of and that interpersonal style. All of that is in that seventh house. That's an angular house. And another angular house, which I told you before, is that 10th house. These houses are really, really, really important in a person's life. 10th house is ruled by Capricorn. It's career, it's long-term goals, it's structure, it's status. Remember how the world sees you. It's your reputation. In high school, were you popular? Okay. Or did you kind of, you mixed in with in the woodworks with everyone else. And then when you got to college, you began to shine, and let's just say you didn't even go to school and you got a hit record. And now you're on this public stage. This is found in the 10th house. This is your public image. This is masculinity. This is the men. This is the fathers. Capricorn represents this space right here. The 10th house represents the father. It's the experts and it's fame. That's in the 10th house. So the 1st, the 4th, the 7th, and the 10th are considered angular houses. Now, why is this important? Let me put that back up there. This is important because planets in angular houses. So if you have planets that's landing in those angular houses, they are visible. Okay. They are loud in these spaces. They shape your major life themes. So if you have a planet on your birth chart that has landed in the 1st, the 4th, the 7th, or that 10th house, it is huge. Because again, the 1st house is representing identity, is representing who you are. That 4th house is representing home, is representing your emotional roots, right? That 7th is your relationships. That's going to be mirrored back to you because that's your partnership. And then the 10th is your career, your public role, how the world sees you. So that's why these houses are called angular houses, because it angles, it gives that angle to our life. It gives that special area in our life. Okay. And these angular houses, they tend to show up early in a person's life. Okay. And strongly in a person's life. So now let me give you an example. Let me pull up my chart, and I'm going to begin to show you. And for those that don't know me personally, right? You might not know me personally, but you know me through YouTube, possibly, okay, or the school, possibly. And so now let me show you. Let me put that up there. Let me come back. Let me show you. Let me take this down. No, I'm gonna keep that up. Okay, let me show you my chart. Okay, all right, let me bring it down. Okay, let me see how this is looking over there. All right, let me make it bigger. Give me a second. Uh-oh, hold on. No. Okay, let me just, I'm just gonna have to move it like this. Oh no, here I go. That's where I forgot. Here we go. There you go. All right, we're better. All right, let me bring it up. Okay. So as you can see, I did it for, and I was born April 23rd, right? 1968, but I want you to see up in the red. Do you see that? Okay, is everybody good? Give a thumbs up. Okay, I was born at 7:59 a.m., but I want you to see the red. I did this for, and listen, this is when you really need to tap in, okay? For those that are watching this on a replay, give us a thumbs up because this is going to apply to you. You know why? Because we have something serious that is happening, and it's going to be with us for a very, very, very long time. So as you can see, I did this chart right here for February 13th, 2026. Now, let me explain to you what's going on. Let's look in the inside of my chart. All right, let's look in the inside of my chart. You're going to see, of course, I was born in the daytime. I'm sorry, I did that backwards. I told y'all the bottom was day and the top was, or did I tell y'all? I don't know if I told you right or not. Anyway, the top is day. You were born in the daytime, and the bottom is night. Okay, I believe I told y'all backwards. So the top half, the top quadrants are the day births, and the bottom quadrants are the night births. I may have told you right. I'm not sure, but if I didn't, that's what it is. All right. So I want you to hone in on the inside. Okay. I want you to hone in on the black. Okay. So the planets that are showing up in black, those are the actual, that's my actual birth chart. That was the positioning in the sky when I was born. And so as you can see, I had a lot of activity. I have a lot of activity on the, the top part of my chart. A lot of activity. All right. So what I want to show you now is that this chart is for February 13th, 2026. And on February 13th, 2026, what is going to happen? Let me make this a little smaller. There you go. All right. No, I need to go back here. There you go. All right. And let me bring it down again. Give me a second, you guys. I got to position this right so you can see what's going on. All right. I think we're good now. Let me come back to you guys just to make sure. Okay. All right. Now, do you see? So the black in the inside, that is the actual blueprint of the night I was born. Okay. Oh, I said it right? Oh, good. Okay. I couldn't remember if I said it right or not. Okay. All right. So the black is the actual blueprint of the at 7:59 a.m. April 23rd, 1968, when I was born. Okay, so you can see I have a lot of activity in the 11th house, and I have a lot of activity in my fourth house, my third house, and my 10th house. So remember, I told you what the angular houses are. The angular houses are the first house, the fourth house, the seventh house, and the 10th house, right? Those are the angular houses. I have what you call a stellium in the 11th house, but that's not where I want to focus on. I want to focus right now on what's about to happen. So the red on the outside, I'll talk about the green in a minute, but the red on the outside are major transits that are about to occur. And this is where I want, so when you get your birth chart, you're going to begin to understand how to figure out where these major transits are about to happen in your life. So first of all, let's look at Neptune. So if you'll look, let me see. And I wish I don't have a little pen thing. I wish I was doing, oh, yes, I do. There you go. Let me see. Is this going to let me? Oh, I don't want to be doing anything fancy. Let me see. Cancer. Oh, let me cancel that. I don't know how to work the pen. Let me see. No, I don't know how to work the pens on here. Darn it. Okay, that's okay. Neptune is at the top of the 10th house, right in red, and it looks like that with the little thing coming down. You see that? It looks like that. That's Neptune, okay? Neptune has already moved into Aries. So now look at the middle. If you'll look at the middle, you'll see all the signs going around the outside. You'll see Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. It's the zodiac sign, so it's coming around, all right? If you'll look at the top of my chart, you'll see on the outside in red, Neptune has already crossed over into Aries. That occurred about a week ago. Neptune stays in a sign for 14 to 15 years. So Neptune will be in the sign of Aries for 14 to 15 years. It depends on where it is in your chart. This is huge because Neptune represents the cloudiness of life, right? The things that we really possibly are not seeing clearly. Neptune comes in and it helps us to kind of start to see things more clearly when it's in Aries. It's been in Pisces for the last 15 years. So things that we looked at, we could not see the full picture of it because Pisces, again, is dreamy. Remember, I told you. Neptune also is a spiritual planet. It's very spiritual. So by it now moving into the sign of Aries, it's going to be very active in the reality of things now. And it's going to bring forth the action. All right. Now, right beside Neptune, remember Neptune looks like that with the little thing. Okay. Like that with the little line. Right next to it, right on its tail, is the sign of Saturn. Do you see that in red right at the top? Stick with me now. Give a thumbs up if you're understanding where I am. Let me make sure y'all are on point because this is so important because I'm going to give you a homework assignment where you're going to look this up in your own chart. Give a thumbs up if you're with me. I'm right at the top in red with Neptune, and right next to it looks like an H. It's Saturn. It looks like a lowercase h. Give me a thumbs up if you're with me. I know there's a little delay, but I need to make sure you're with me. Let me see some thumbs up. And if you haven't given a thumbs up to the live, please do so. Please do so. Please. It helps push this out a little further. Okay, Shiloh has it. Anybody else in the house? Are y'all good? 2 seconds. Give me a thumbs up so I know that y'all are good. Okay, let me see if I get a couple more thumbs up. If not, I need to go back through again. Oh, here they come. Okay. All right. Everybody's getting it now. Okay, good. All right. So at the top, we have Neptune. Okay. And then right where I'm in the red, I'm in the signs that's in the red. And then you also see Saturn that is right on its tail. Saturn right now is still in the sign of Pisces. On February 13th, Saturn will move into Aries. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, Saturn stays in a sign for 2 to 2.5 years. So Saturn will be in Aries roughly 2 to 2.5 years. Saturn represents, well, first of all, Saturn is rules Capricorn, all right, which is the 10th house. This is why so think about everything I just told you about the 10th house. Okay, and I'll put it back up in a minute. Saturn represents, Capricorn, the 10th house represents work. It represents how the world views you. It represents the father. It represents discipline. We didn't talk about that. Okay. So now Saturn, which rules Capricorn, is moving into Aries, and it will move there on February. It will enter Aries on February 13th. So it's bringing structure. It's bringing discipline through the actions of an Aries. Aries is about action. Okay, Aries sometimes is a fire sign, so it could be very fiery in its personality. And you're doing all that, and you're bringing all that towards you, who you are. Remember, Aries is about me. It's about my identity. Okay, it's about who I am. It's a focus on my body, my personality. Remember, it's the baby. So all of this is happening, and it's bringing structure. So if you've been someone who's been off the darn chain, and you haven't been kind to yourself the way that you should, and you haven't been doing the things that you really should be doing through discipline, when you can't even wake up in the morning on time, or can't show up places on time, this is what we're talking about. So now, why is this important? And why do we need to stop and talk about this at this point? Neptune is already in Aries. Saturn will enter Aries on February 13th. On February 20th, Neptune, which is at the 0 degree, the very first degree, all signs go from 0 to 29 degrees. 0 is the very first degree. Neptune is holding there right now. Remember, Neptune is going to be in Aries for about 14 to 15 years, so it moves very slowly. Saturn will enter the same degree that it will enter at the 0 degree on February 20th. So Neptune and Saturn are what's called a conjunct. They will be conjuncting each other, which means right by each other on the same degree sign, which has never taken place in our lifetime. Do y'all understand how serious this is? This means this is a generational change. Not just talking about what it's going to do in your own personal life. This is a complete overhaul. So if you don't understand how this is affecting you, you know, how to use this as support so it could move your life ahead. With Saturn being there, Saturn is discipline. It's going to force you to act right. It's going to force you to do right. And the reality, along with the structure, whatever you thought something was, it's not going to be a thought anymore. Now you're going to know specifically what's going on. Now you're going to know without a shadow of a doubt what they feel about you. Now you're going to know without a shadow of a doubt what you should be doing. Now you're going to know without a shadow of a doubt what really took place in this situation. So you have to understand how serious this is. Okay. Now I'm going to show you how to find this in your own chart. Okay. I mean, how to find, how to get to this. I'm going to show you how to get there, to pull this up in your own chart so you can see. But I want you to know how powerful February is. So if you go to my link bio, /I am Dr. Sherry, it's coming up right there, www.link.bio/I am Dr. Sherry. Click on my birth blueprint. And then I do the transits for you every month. So I actually did all of the transits for you by the dates for February. I do this every month. Okay, so just tap in there. But I wanted you to see this, and I wanted you to see this in my chart. Now, look at what's about to go down with me. Do y'all see this? First of all, I have a stellium in Aries. Okay? I have multiple planets in Aries. All of this is in the 11th house in Aries. And then I have Chiron at the first degree in Aries. It's serious. It's serious. So when I can't even get into Chiron right now. That's a whole nother. Listen, that's a whole nother discussion. We'll get to each one of the planets later, and we'll break down just what that planet is. But I wanted you to kind of see in my chart that this is a time period where anybody, I have no room for any foolishness. Okay, how this is about to affect my life, and I need to actually use it as momentum in my life. All right. I wanted to hone in on another part. I told y'all in one of the lessons that my Pisces was in the 12th house, and I was wrong. It's my Mars that's in the 12th house, which is even more serious. But my Pisces moon is actually in the 10th house. But this is a part where, for those that don't know me personally, this is where you're going to understand where my communication comes from. So if you look at my 3rd house, you'll see I have Jupiter in Leo in my 3rd house. Remember, the 3rd house is communication. Okay. So when you begin to put Jupiter, which represents expansion, that's why my social media, I literally just had a couple, acting silly as usual. I literally had a couple of them go micro viral not too long ago. This time last week. I actually did 4. And you know that new T.I. jam that just came out. So I did a couple of them off of that one, and sure enough, each one of them took off like crazy. So I'm not surprised that by Jupiter being in my 3rd house of communication, that's a strength for me. And it's in the sign of Leo. So that's a strength for me. I'm not shocked that Jupiter being in the 3rd house in Leo represents children. So that's why I have a love for children. Okay. That's why I was a teacher. That's why even my own children. Okay, my grandchildren, the time that I spend with children, I can relate to children. Children are the love of my life. And when you look at this, it's reflected in my birth chart. Okay, the education, remember the 3rd house represented the house of learning. So is that shocking that I've had a school? Okay, is that shocking that I have a school now for adults? Is that shocking that I teach constantly? No, it's reflected in my chart. Are y'all getting this now? You don't even have to know me personally for that. You can see it in my chart. Give a thumbs up if you can, if you're understanding. If you're understanding how this works now. I'm gonna let me bring this back. Okay. I'm hoping that you're getting an understanding of how all this plays together. That you're understanding that when these transits happen, how serious these transits are, right? How serious these transits are, and how they are going to affect you. Okay, and how you need to understand it for yourself so you'll know what the heck is going on. You got to get this. And so for people that don't have the desire to understand it, it baffles me. It baffles me because I'm like, why would you not want to learn about how you should be moving, where your strengths are? That's why everything I touched with children and education literally turned to gold. I literally hit a gold mine when I was teaching. And I'm not just, but I need y'all to see this. I won award after award after award after award when I was teaching because I was in alignment. Okay. I mean, I won national and international awards being a teacher. I taught teachers on a national level. Okay. I went to Japan to teach Japanese teachers how to teach because they didn't know how to discipline the students because they were being westernized through MTV. And the Japanese teachers did not know how to deal with that. So me being in alignment with children, me being in alignment with Jupiter being in my 3rd house of communication and learning, that's not shocking that I got, accelerated degrees because it's in my chart. And I was alignment. That's why it wasn't a struggle for me. People could not understand, how can she go to school? She has a baby and she gets a degree. She has a baby and she gets a degree. I'm not shocked by that, because remember my fourth house. Okay, remember that's where I had Pluto in that fourth house, which represents deepness. Okay, which represents that intimacy, which represents the mother. Are y'all seeing this? You understand? Let me put this back up because I need you to see this. Let me add this back to the stage. Look at my fourth house. Okay, look at my fourth house with Uranus and Pluto right there. So that's why when I I had my 40th class reunion, that's why people were shocked that I had 4 daughters. Okay? Because remember what Pluto runs the house of Scorpio, which represents sometimes those secrets. It was a secret to me that I would have that many children. But I want you to begin to see how you could really bring this forth in reality. Okay. Now look at Uranus being in my 4th house. Uranus, when Uranus enters when that planet enters a space, enters a house, a shakeup is sure enough going to happen. A major shakeup in your life is going to happen, and unsettling sometimes will happen. So I'm not shocked that I've been divorced twice. Uranus came in and shook it up. Okay. And also my chart represents now that I'm at a mature level. And when I've done further studies in my chart, I see now that I'm going to calm down now more in relationships because now I've matured through it. Okay. I have an understanding of it because Uranus came in and it shook up my home life a couple times until I understood how to work with the energy. Are y'all getting this now? I had to work with the energy of Uranus and being conjunct right there with Pluto. It wasn't pleasant. It was a shakeup that happened in my 4th house, my home life. So what does this do? It doesn't mean that you're going to go through a life, understanding your birth chart and things aren't going to happen. That's not what it means. Things are going to happen. But it gives you an understanding of how to move through the energies, how to deal with the energies. Now, if I had known and broken down my birth chart when I was younger and somebody had explained this to me, I would have been a little bit more cautious about relationships. I'm not lying to you. I would have been a little bit more cautious because I would have understood that unsettling energy there. And I would have had to grow to understand how to deal with it in a home space so a shakeup won't destroy my life. Remember, I told you Pluto represents Scorpio. Scorpio is what? Death and transformation. So I had to die in my relationships to be transformed, to understand how to deal with the energies. Uranus represents shakeups. Okay. So I had to learn how to do that. All right. Let me see where my paper is, and then let me show you guys how to find this for yourself. So notice how the planets become more important because of where it lives. Okay. I think we kind of dealt with that. Okay. Not just what it is because of the energy of, but where it lives in those houses. So we know that there is one planet, one house, and one clear life theme. So you have to look at that one planet, that energy that comes from that planet, and that house that it's in to kind of understand how this might play out in your life. You notice I said might because there's still free will. Okay. So let me show you this too, and then I need to show you how. So as you can see, I got a lot of houses that have nothing in it. Some people don't understand that empty houses still are saying something. Okay. It's saying these are areas where life may need to develop, that you have the bare necessities to play this out in your life. Okay, so if you look, let's go to an angular house. Let's go to the angular house of number 7 of partnerships, right? And my partnerships is starting in Sagittarius, oh boy, and Capricorn. Okay, so again, with my partnerships, I will be considered one that's a little flighty, and I am. That's how I am in my relationships. I'm high energy. Because that's how a Sagittarius is. I'm funny in relationships. Okay, I am. I'm gonna make people laugh. And but at the same time, I got that philosophical mind where I'm going to come back, where I am going to debate on my. I'm going to bring forth my point, and I like to travel. So I do this through partnerships. Are y'all understanding how this works now? So I'm coming into these houses with the bare necessity, but I have to make sure that I'm living it out according to how that house is positioned in those signs, because that's how I'm going to be most comfortable. If I do anything against those signs, so as you can see, I'm in Sagittarius, but I'm also in Capricorn. So in my relationships, I'm probably going to have a working relationship. I'm going to be in unison with that partner that I'm with. We're going to probably have a common theme and be unified in a specific work aspect. Okay. So there's no such thing as bad houses. You got to, I don't want anybody to say bad houses. It's not bad houses. It's just that you have to look at it differently. Okay. And so just look at it again, like life is layered. But again, you have to understand who you are. You got to understand how this plays out in your life through your birth chart. I went and I actually broke down my mother's chart and my daughter's charts, right? Because I had to understand how to deal with them booger bears, and in their adult age. I had it down pat when they were children, okay. But in their adult age, I did a study on my daughters. I think about 4 or 5 years ago. And that's when I got blown away, because it made sense to me why they behave the way that they do. I have one daughter that's a double Sag, and she was born during 3 retrogrades. I have another daughter that's a double Taurus. I have another daughter that's a double Aries. And then my other daughter is has 3 different signs, but she is a Sagittarius rising. They're gonna Sagittarius again with a Leo moon. I mean, a Leo rising with a Sagittarius. Excuse me. She's a Libra sun, a Sagittarius rising with a Leo moon. So she has a lot going on there, and it matches her personality perfectly. I had to understand that. So this is why I'm trying to tell you, those you're in relationship with, though your family members, it's important you understand their birth chart so you'll know how to relate. Even though my father's passed on, when I looked at his chart, I got it. I got why my father moved the way that he did. I understood, right? Things that made me angry about him. When I was younger, when I went back and I looked, I was like, oh, that's why he behaved like that. He held a lot of secrets, which might have involved a lot of pain, because some aspects were bouncing off of his mother's, the 4th house, right? That wasn't too pleasant. So it might have been a lot of secrets that he was holding, or things that he never let go of. Okay. So it's important. It's not like you're prying into someone's life. That's not what it is. What I'm telling you is that when I understand your birth chart, what I'm telling you are important enough to me that I'm trying to understand you so I can communicate more with you, so I can feel you better. So I'll know not to do this or say this, so I don't trigger you, right? It gives you an understanding. Is that all right? How they say it in church? Is that all right? Y'all feeling all right? All right. So again, astrology doesn't remove your free will, because you have the choice to do anything you want to do. I chose to become a teacher because at the time I didn't understand the birth chart stuff, but it felt good to me. It felt right to me. So I moved with it. And just so happened, thank the Lord, I was in alignment. Now, what if I decided, you know what? I don't want to be a teacher. I'm going to be a medical doctor. That wouldn't have worked for me. That would not have worked for me. I'm telling you, I would not have been happy. I would not have been happy. I would not have been. because it wasn't in the cards for me. It would not have put me in alignment. Remember, you still have the free will to do it, but you want to stay where? In alignment. All right, so let me show you guys how to get to this space. Astro. Give me 1 second. And then I'm going to come back. Okay. Okay, let me come back and get you guys. Where are you? All right, here. Okay. Let me share my screen. And now I'm going to show you how to stop screen. Oh, am I sharing? Okay, let me come back now. Is this it? Yeah. Okay. Y'all see that? Let me come back and make sure you can see it. Okay, good. All right. So you're going to go here, Astro Densed. You're going to come to charts and calculations. Okay. So write that down, charts, calculations, and data. Then you're going to go right here where it says extended chart selection. So go there. And you're going to put in, I want you guys to put in the 13th. Remember, we're dealing with 2 dates. So we're dealing with the 13th and we're dealing with the 20th. So you all saw the 13th on my other chart. So let's do the 20th this time. You're going to come to Web Default Style, Chart Drawing Style. Come to Web Default Style. And then come down to, wait a minute, is that the one? I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Chart type. Come to chart type and come down to natal transits and progressions combined. We didn't talk about progressions this time, but I'll talk about it next time. But let's show the chart. You're going to hit show chart. And so therefore, there it is. This is what my chart is going to look like on the 20th. So you see right there with Neptune and Saturn, you see they're on the same 0 degree. That's what's going to happen on the 20th. This is going to be my chart on the 20th. Now, just quickly, the green, that represents where the planets are right now in my chart. So like right now, my sun is in the 1st house. Okay. You see all that? My Mercury, my Venus, my Mars, all of those are kind of conjunct right there in that 1st house. So what does that mean? That means it's all about me right now. I should have a focus on me, and it's in the sign of Gemini, and it's going to be moving. It's between Gemini and Cancer. So between that, it's about my communication, and I'm in perfect alignment with this because I'm going to be making an announcement real soon that aligns perfectly with this. Perfectly. All right. All right, you guys. So that's all I have for today. I hope you learned a lot today. Let me recap. So we learned that houses show where life happens. All right. That's one thing. We showed that some chart placements can live very different lives. So just because everybody might be a Venus Pisces, it depends on what house it's in. Okay. So I hope you learned that. We learned that angular houses are especially powerful. Who remembers the angular houses? Put it in chat. Put it in chat if you remembered the angular houses. Put it in chat if you remembered those angular houses, which are very, very, very important houses. And astrology becomes real when you understand your life areas. Yes. And don't forget, go to my link bio at I Am Dr. Sherry. Get the February transits. Every month I will put those transits for the month there so you can know kind of what's going on, what's happening. Okay. Y'all didn't put those angular houses up there. I am waiting for somebody to type in those angular houses so I know that you all got it. Where did I put angular houses at? Didn't I put it in here? Yes. Tell me what those angular houses are in a chart. Where are the angular houses? Somebody type it in so I know that you got it. Uh-oh. Almost. Almost, Shiloh. Almost. He got two out the 4. Who remembers the angular houses? Okay, hold on. I'll put this up. Okay, what are the angular houses? Who remembers now the angular houses? Kinda. Okay, I'll put it back in here again. Okay, Sharon says kinda. Here they go. Remember, the angular houses are the first, me, fourth, family, stability, home, mother, seventh, relationships, marriage, contracts, business partnerships, fairness, equality, sharing, and the 10th, career, work, discipline, structure, fame, how the world sees you, okay? Man, father, those are angular houses, which are very, very, very important. So now again, go to AstroDense, okay, or astro.com. Astro.com will take you there as well. I'll put that up there. Astro.com will take you there. And don't forget to go and put up, remember you're going to select chart. Then you're going to select extended chart calculations. Then you're going to select the chart style, I think it was. You're going to select the chart type. You're going to select the natal progress chart with the transits. Okay, the natal chart with the transits and you can do the progress too, because it's going to kind of show you where it is right now in the green. The red is the transits, that major transit that's happening with Saturn and Neptune. And then the inside, don't forget, that shows what the blueprint was in the sky when you were born. Okay. All right. Yes. 147, 147, and 10. Yes. All right. I love you guys so much. I hope you learned a lot. Until next time. Bye.